Hello everyone and welcome to Off the Cuff, where the headlines come to life. She was the first woman to be inducted in the National Management Association's Hall of Fame. She was honored as an entrepreneurial visionary with the Women's Business Center in Washington, D.C. Award. Crain's Detroit Business named her as the most 100 influential women in Detroit, and I can go on and on and on. Please welcome the amazing Florine Mark, President and CEO of Weight Watchers. Florine, welcome to Off the Cuff.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, it's my pleasure and honor to be here.
Thank you. You have done such amazing work, not only, and you're really the face of Weight Watchers, but the things that you have accomplished and the things that you are passionate about is really more of a human interest story. You, across the board, have looked at the entire human being, not only weight, not only looks, but internally, and I think that is what really sets you apart from so many different initiatives. You actually host a radio show called Fresh 100.3.
Called Remarkable Woman.
Remarkable Women, absolutely, on Fresh 100.3
Right.
on Sundays.
Right.
Tell us about this, and I know that you are such a women's advocate and have done so much to really advance socially and professionally women of all different areas. But tell us about this radio program and your inspiration for it.
Well, I'm passionate about women and helping women go on and get better, because when I first started, there was like 30 years ago, 35 years ago, there were no women in business that I knew. So my mentors were all men. But I couldn't even get a loan at the bank because unless my husband signed for me, I wasn't going to get a loan. And I said, no way. And I went on and got the $5,000 that I needed to buy a down payment on the first franchise that I bought at Weight Watchers. And I said to myself, this is terrible. I mean, this is just terrible. And
how far we've come.
Absolutely. In fact, I have just a friend of mine who was a remarkable woman. So I remember being on J.P. McCarthy's show many, many times, a blessed memory. But I was the only female. All the rest were entertainers and sportsmen, all men.
Absolutely.
And I used to say, Joe, how about having some women on? He said, well, don't worry, we'll have it eventually. So I thought to myself, I've got to sell a big station, and WNIC was the perfect one. And I've got to get women on the show, and I'm only going to do women. And I called the show Remarkable Woman.
So how long have you been doing this
I've
show?
been doing it about 14 years. And after we did it a couple years, I said to myself, you know, why don't we get all these remarkable women who are living in Michigan, and we're all remarkable,
Absolutely.
and let's have a luncheon, and we'll charge for it, and all the proceeds will go to women's health. So we've supported women's breast cancer, we've supported women's heart at University of Michigan, we've supported, of course, Karamanos, and we give to women's health, which is very, very important. And that's how it all got started. Well, I believe that women and men, we that can, have to take care of those that can't. And even though we that can afford to diet have to take care of those that can't afford to eat. That's why Forgotten Harvest and Gleaners and all the rest of these food banks are very important to me. And not only is it giving a check, but it's also getting out and volunteering. Now, there's an organization from Miami Beach called Women of Tomorrow, and then this woman started it here in Michigan, called me, and I got very involved. And what we do is this is women that go into the downtown, into Detroit schools all over in Detroit, and we mentor 9th through 12th grade girls. I myself go to Cody. I'm not just giving a check. I myself go to Cody. I bring them apples and fruit. Many of these girls don't have anything to eat, and they're very diverse. I mean, there are all kinds of, you see in the classroom. There's
Sure.
African Americans, there's Hispanic, there's Asian, there's all kinds of different groups, and many of these girls are homeless. Can you believe this? Homeless, living in a car or living with a friend or something. And we have gotten to the point, this is about the third year it's been in Detroit, where we have 90% of the girls that we mentor are graduating. and which is so great. And then we've
That's
gone
an
out to
accomplishment.
colleges here in Detroit. I mean, in Michigan, University of Michigan, Wayne State is a very big one, Kalamazoo, Central, Michigan State also, and they have donated scholarships for these girls. So when they graduate, if they qualify, we are giving them, helping them go to college. And it's one, we just had a graduation, and one of the girls just graduated from, I think, University of Michigan. She's a nurse. I mean, her dream, she's the first one in many generations in her family that even went to college.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
I think it's important
Sure.
to get involved.
Absolutely, and you are hands-on, and you know the volunteer
Absolutely.
work that you do is amazing, and you're touching lives and making a difference. I mean, Cody High School, you know, for you to be there and to talk to these girls, I think that would change their lives completely. To see the Florine Mark, you know, taking an interest in them.
But you know what? It changes my life too. It really changes. I go home and I feel a better person for all of this. And you know, my quest in life is, I've been a 50-pound loser. I am a 50-pound winner. I've lost it, and I've kept it off now for 35 plus years, but I've lost it 9 times before with diet drugs given to me by diet doctors. That's almost 500 pounds in my lifetime. And so my whole life has changed. I'm healthier. I exercise. I play tennis. I play golf. I have 7 children, and now I have lots of little grandchildren, and you know, I want to play with them. I want to be healthy. And I know that obesity is the #1 contributing cause to all major diseases. Cancer, heart, diabetes, strokes, on and on and on and on and on. And all kinds of studies have been done, especially in breast cancer. Women that are at normal weight have a less chance of getting breast cancer than those that are overweight. And obese is 20 pounds overweight, they consider you obese.
Absolutely. I think we're the most obese country in
We
the
are.
one of the most
We are.
obese countries in the world. I was reading back in your history that when you were younger, you know, not economically affluent as a family,
Very
you
poor.
ate a lot of macaroni and cheese.
Oh my
now, see
God.
that's
Oh
something
my
that we
God.
put on the table for our kids all the time.
You know something, that's what we ate. We called it macaroni. Today they call it pasta, okay? I hate pasta.
Mac
I
and
won't
cheese.
even eat pasta. My mother, because it was so cheap, and we were very, very poor. I grew up in Detroit, Michigan, right in the heart of
Northwest Detroit.
right? And I lived with 13 family members, right? And the easiest thing to make was
Mac and
pasta
cheese.
or macaroni. I had it with cheese. I had it with butter. I had it with sour cream. I had it with tomato sauce. If we were lucky, we had a little meat sauce. I mean, you name it, and I had pasta or macaroni at least 7 times a week, maybe more. And you know,
Sure.
got fatter and
Absolutely.
fatter, and we ate a lot of sugar and a lot of butter or any kind of chicken fat or whatever kind, lard, whatever it was, because it made food taste good. And sugar made food taste good, and they were cheap commodities. So everything, my grandmother she was the cook in the family. We had a little corner grocery store. The whole family rented a store. Whole family worked there. Whatever didn't sell, my grandmother brought it home. She put enough chicken fat or butter and sugar in it, and
Make
we
a
ate
meal.
it. We didn't know what it was. We ate it, and there was always some macaroni and whatever else. And that's how we grew up. 13 fat family members.
Absolutely.
You know, and when I went to school, I was the fattest kid in class, and they called me Fat Flo, and I hated it.
Of course.
And
of
you know,
course.
it made me cry and made me miserable. And I'd come home, and my beautiful mother, and all my loving family, and the one thing they gave me was confidence. They always told me, "Hey, Florine, you're beautiful. You can do anything you want." They didn't see me as I saw me. I saw myself as ugly and stupid and dumb because I was so overweight and I was the fattest kid in class. And my mother would put her arms around me and say, "Come on, sit down, have a piece of cake, you'll feel better."
Yeah.
Right?
Coming from
Right.
a Lebanese family, I know exactly.
Right,
Come on, sit down. I'll make you something to eat.
Right.
It'll make it
Right,
all better.
Right, it'll make it all better. Right. Well, that's what Jewish people do. They
Yep.
feed you all the time. You know?
Absolutely, Mediterranean
Absolutely.
style.
And Italians too. All
Absolutely,
my
yeah.
Italian friends, you walk into their house, sit down. I just ate. No, it's okay. Greek. I mean, you see my big fat Greek wedding?
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was fat. I thought they were all Greek Jewish because they were feeding themselves all the time.
Come
right.
on, I'll make you something to eat.
Right.
Absolutely. You wrote a book called
Talk to the Mirror.
To the Mirror. And I think just from the story that you shared with us right now, that was probably your inspiration, because you look at yourself and it's not really what's inside sometimes, it's what you see as yourself, and what the reflection is of your idea of who you are. That has been something that has guided you, and I know that you actually went to New York to go to the Weight Watchers meeting. So there, that inspirational part of this is what I have to do, and this is I want to make this my life's passion. So what was that aha moment that said, you know what, I'm going? Because you were married at the time, correct?
Yes, I was married. I already had 5 children,
right.
And I heard my husband said his business was not really good, and I had to go out and get a job, and I was a size 22, and I said, who's going to hire me? I hate myself. Who's going to hire me? I'm so fat, ugly, stupid, dumb. I can't even lose weight. I'm a failure. And I heard about this thing called Weight Watchers. It was in New York, and I went to New York. My mother and dad, who were fabulous people, they stayed with my children, and I took my last bit of money and I went. I met a wonderful woman named Jean Neidish, who recently passed away, a blessed memory.
Sorry.
And she said, you can come once a month instead of coming once a week. And in 4 months, and going back there, and I stay 5 days, and I'd go to meetings in Brooklyn. It was only in New York at the time, and in Queens and all over the place. And I lost 40 pounds. And Jean said, why don't you take this back to Detroit? Because I had a real, all my family were chubby, and I was healthy. And I said, and I had a sister that was in a wheelchair. She from polio. She was 65 pounds overweight. Because, you can't walk, we'll feed you. We'll make you feel better, okay?
Right.
And I figure I'll get her, and then we'll get her to get on braces and crutches, which eventually she did, and she would get out of the wheelchair and swing, but she did get out of the wheelchair on that.
See, nutrition and
so important.
It's just all interconnected with everything that you do in life.
And I got married and had a baby. I got married. I was graduated high school in June. I was already 16 in February. I was 2 years ahead of myself in school. I mean, what do fat girls do? We study a lot. That's how we get so smart, right? So at 16, I was 16 in February, got married in June, graduated in June, got married in August. He was short, I was fat, but he was a really nice guy. And following September, had my first child. And we knew it was just wrong for us. We were too young. What did we know? He was already at University of Michigan. He was much older than I was. And so we got divorced. And then I remarried and had 4 more children by the time I was 25. And my oldest daughter at 18.
You had your children by the time you were 25? Bless your
almost
heart.
26. And the last 2 were born 11 months apart. They were born the same year. They're fabulous. I mean, I wouldn't have done it any other way. I always wanted 6, so 5. And when I was 35, my oldest daughter, who was 18 at the time, got married, had a baby. So I was a grandmother at 35. And my husband got multiple myeloma cancer, and he died. And then I was a single mom.
I know you took very good care of him during that process.
And then I remarried Bill, who was the love of my life, and he was a doctor in Plymouth, and fabulous man, and he brought me 2 more children. And that's how I got 7. They're all mine, and I'm the only parent alive for all my kids. And this wonderful man, we had a great marriage, and I'm a believer in the goodness in life. And rather than sit and grieve, I believe in telling myself how lucky I was to have this first marriage and 5 wonderful kids. And unfortunately, he got cancer, but life goes on. And instead of sitting there and grieving and feeling sad for myself, because just me, he's gone already, I said, hey, I'm the luckiest lady in the whole world. I had this fabulous man, and now he'd want me to go on and make my life. And so then I married Bill, and I had this wonderful marriage, and he was another great guy. And then he got Lou Gehrig's disease. And he couldn't move anything but blink his eyes for 2 years, and he was a doctor. And he'd lay there, and tried to make life as happy for us every single day. And that's when I wrote the book.
I remember you used to say, I always just tried to make him smile.
That's
and that
right.
was my project for the day.
That was my project for the day. And I would get up in the morning, look in the mirror and say to myself, good morning, Florine. Today's going to be a good one, and you can do anything you want if you want to do it bad enough. And today, just for today, I only ask myself for one day, I make a commitment. And today, excuse me, you're going to make this wonderful man as happy as you can. And every day I'd get up, and then when I said, you know what, everybody kept saying to me, I didn't leave the house except to go to a Weight Watchers meeting because I didn't want to gain any weight, and I didn't want to feel sorry for him. I'm an ice creamaholic. And I would go to bed at night. Now, he had caregivers through the night, so he had to sleep in a separate room. So at night, I'd go to bed and scream and yell and cry in my bedroom and wake up in the morning and have to put on a happy face. And my family would say, why don't you write a book? You're home anyways. And so I did. And I called to talk to the mirror because that's what I do, and I still do it. And I'm still grateful that I was married to this wonderful man for those many years. He brought me 2 beautiful children. I was so happy how lucky I am to have had these 2 great husbands.
Absolutely.
So I don't feel sorry for me. I feel, and life goes on. And that's how I wrote the book, and I still do it every morning. I get up and I say, good morning, Florine. Today's going to be a good one. And you can do anything you want for just one day. And tomorrow I'll wake up and I might say to myself, you can stay in bed and eat all the ice cream you want. I know I won't do that, but you never know. You never know.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so when he was ill, you know, I used to say to myself, who more deserves the ice cream than me? Because, you know, we don't eat because we're hungry. We eat because we're sad, we're unhappy, we're miserable, we're bored, we're stressed.
To fill a void.
Yes, to fill a void, right? And I didn't want to eat the ice cream because I said to myself, what's it going to do? It's going to make me fat, and I'm going to wake up in the morning and I'm going to say, oh my God, you're dumb and stupid again? I don't want to do that. Is it going to help him? Is it going to help cure his ALS? No. His Lou Gehrig's disease? Absolutely not. So what am I going to eat it for? Because I like the way I feel and look better than the taste of anything, especially the ice cream. And that's how I lived those 2 years through, and it was very difficult.
You made it. You made it through, and look where you are, and you're giving back so much.
Right, and so can every one of your listeners that are listening, or whatever you're going through, whatever it is, you know what, sit down and talk to yourself and believe in you and say, for today I'm going to do it. Talk to the mirror. Buy my book and get it on Amazon.com and talk to the mirror, right? And listen, every day is not stress-free, and every day, you know, you have periods of happiness and then you have periods where it's very tough. I get up every day and I say to myself, hey, Florine, as I said today, you have 2 choices today, happy, unhappy. I don't like unhappy, so I'm going to do everything I can to be happy, which means I'm going to forgive and forget people that hurt my feelings. Absolutely. It's not, you know what, why carry grudges? Why carry it? I'm going to do something for somebody else. I'm going to make somebody else happy. I'm either going to give to a charity or I'm going to work for a charity. I'm going to go out and go to Weight Watchers meetings. I'm going to work hard to make our classes the best we can make it so people can walk in and say, hey, I'm going to lose this weight. I know I can do it. And, you know, I'm going to take some time for me. If you don't take time for you, our new program is Beyond the Scale.
Yes.
It's not the weight, okay, that's going to come, but it's taking care of you, and that's what we're helping to teach people, that you are important. No matter what you weigh, it doesn't make any difference. You are important, and you can change the way you think. You absolutely can change, because it's your brain that tells you what to do.
And usually people say, you know, I had that meal, I needed to drown my sorrows, you know, in food. And so when you talk to yourself and give that strength to yourself, you're right, it's the entire being. So it's not just the food intake. And I know that Weight Watchers works on the point system.
Right, every food is equated to points. You get so many points to eat every day. And when you're through, you can have as many fruits and vegetables as you want.
Oh,
I would say as many vegetables, because I'm a big vegetable eater, and fruits. They're all 0 points. So if you were out with your friend or your husband or whatever, your partner, and you decided you went to the ball game and you had a beer and you had a hot dog and you had some popcorn or whatever else, and you used up all your points and you had a good breakfast.
Eat fruits and vegetables afterwards.
And then, you know, go home, make yourself a salad, and eat your salad.
But they say sometimes salad even has more calories than.
Who says?
That's what I've read, and I'm
Oh,
thinking,
where did you read that?
Salad.
Come on.
Maybe it's the dressing that goes on the salad.
Oh, it's
that
the
creates
dressing, absolutely.
So what do you put on it so it doesn't have those
Lemon,
calories?
balsamic vinegar.
Okay.
And maybe I'll put a tablespoon of olive oil, which is probably 1 or 2 points. That's it. But I'll put blueberries in my salad. I'll put raspberries. I'll use raspberry vinaigrette. I don't need a dressing.
Okay.
And it's really a little pepper, a little salt. It's delicious.
Okay. See,
Put
I'm
some
a salad
raspberries in
eater.
it.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
And I have read that though, that sometimes when you
No.
like maybe if you add like certain stuff
it's
to
only
it,
if you go and you're buying bottled dressing, or you're making it, or if you're putting a lot of mayonnaise, or putting tons of oil on it. It's just. I eat it without anything. I'll put some raspberry vinegar on it, or nothing, but I'll put the fruit in it and mix the fruit. Maybe you can put some orange slices in it, and it's fabulous.
That sounds wonderful, absolutely. And I'm gonna continue eating my salads. Good.
Well, you're beautiful.
Oh, thank you. What do you? And I actually heard on the news yesterday there was this new surgical process, where they go in and they fold over the intestines, and they said they had some phenomenal successes with that. Even more successful than actually putting the ring. What is your take on that? And what do you tell people that come and tell you, you know what, I don't have any self-control, I'm going to just go and do this surgically?
I believe it's not really self-control, it's won't control.
I like that better.
You can, but
Yes.
I won't do it. But I believe anything that helps you lose the weight and get it off, because it's so detrimental to your health, is fine. I had a man come to me, started 526 pounds. He wanted to have surgical bariatric surgery. He absolutely was not a candidate because he was so fat. They were afraid for his life if they went in and operated on him. Okay. So he came, told him, come to Weight Watchers. The hospital said, come to Weight Watchers, lose some weight, come back, and we'll do the surgery. Well, he's lost close to 200 pounds now with us. And he never had the surgery. I think if you do the surgery, I've had so many people that I know, especially friends, who have had the surgery and gained all the weight back.
Right.
Lost it and gained it back. So it's a matter of mindset. This is where you do. It's not so much this. It's this brain tells this hand to put it in this mouth, and what are you telling yourself, and how do you learn? And that's what we do at Weight Watchers. We teach you how to help yourself to change your habits and feel good every day, not when you lose 50 or 100 or 20 or whatever else.
So when you go to a meeting now, is it more motivational? Do you learn your point system?
Absolutely. Every person that works for me, every coach, and every person that is a receptionist, every leader receptionist has had a weight problem, sat in our classes, gone through our training, and then gone and become a leader or a receptionist or a coach and whatever we call them now. And so that when somebody gets up there, and every week they come, it's been written out for them we have a big staff in New York that is psychologists, doctors, psychiatrists, physiatrists, exercise people, and they're writing what we call meeting guides. And we give our leaders the meeting guides every month. Every month they get 4 meeting guides for the week. And of course they bring themselves in. And one of the important things that you get at Weight Watchers, if you want to be involved. So it's not just the leader or the coach telling you, it's everybody talking to each other, and you're getting a feeling of camaraderie, and you're getting a feeling, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one that wants to eat ice cream when I feel bad. There are other people, and how they're handling it. And systematically, we are teaching you how to change your eating habits.
So if somebody's home, say I'm home, and my kids decide to order 2 huge pizzas, and I'm looking at them, and I'm on this program, is there a phone call I can make?
Well, yes, of course. But you won't need that, because you can have a piece of pizza and count your points. If you know your kids are going to have pizza, you're going to have pizza for dinner that night, have an egg white omelet for breakfast, and that makes sense. 1 point.
Sure.
Have a big salad, like I just told you, with fruit and everything in it. Don't put any dressing on it. I get these little packages of tuna. I think Sunkist or Starkist makes them. They're 1 point. They're 70 calories, and it's a dark meat. The white meat has more mercury in it, so I get the light meat. And I put it in 1 point. I put it in, mix it all up, so I'm have maybe 3-4 points the whole day. And I eat my fruits and vegetables, especially I always have a bag in my briefcase or in my car in my office of red peppers, green peppers, carrots and celery and all that. When I'm hungry, I'll have that in tea. And then at night, if you can have 18 or 20 or 30, 25 points, whatever points are given to you according to your height, your weight, and your gender. So say you have 18 points left, you can have 2 pieces of pizza.
Wow.
And a glass of wine to go with it.
Oh, now see, I like that. I like that. Yeah, you know what? You have done so many things. We've got to wrap it up, unfortunately. But there's so many things I wanted to talk to you about. You are a board member of 35 different committees. You actually chaired the Detroit branch of the Federal Reserve of Chicago.
I did. I was the only female.
Yes.
It's the Federal Reserve
I had
Bank
to bring this up.
branch of Detroit, Chicago branch, Federal Reserve Board. And I don't know, nobody knows how you get on the board. So I got asked to be on the board. Every year you have to be renominated. You can only be on it for 6 years, and I was the only female. I was renominated, and the third year, every year, many of the men that were on it, it's a small board, never came back after the first year. After the third year, they asked if I would be, they voted me chairwoman.
Yes.
And I was the chair for 3 years.
That is remarkable.
And
talk about
it was
women
very,
and,
very
and
exciting
representation.
because Alan Greenspan
yes.
was, and I would introduce him, I would sit next to him, he knew me, he'd call, hey Florine, come over here and sit, and I'd say to my dad, Daddy, do you know who's calling me?
Alan
This little girl from
Greenspan.
Elmhurst and Linwood, he's the most important man in the world. You know,
right.
And so I never take anything for granted. And I'm grateful for everything I do. And I get up every morning and I talk to myself about how grateful I am and what I'm grateful for.
And I think that, I started this interview off with, I think that's what sets you aside from so many different people. Because I remember when I had met you at one of the conferences, and I was like, oh my God, that's Florine Mark, you know. And when I said hello to you, and we actually talked, and you know, gave you a hug at you know, when you were leaving, and we had a regular conversation, and I just realized how down to earth you are, because you are so accomplished. You are your star.
Yeah,
you are a
thank
star, and yet you're so grounded, and the sense of your philanthropy and really wanting to give back. Being at Cody, I mean, these girls lives will change because of Florine Mark being there and touching their lives, and so that is really, really what sets you apart. And what you do for women is amazing.
Thank you very much. I invite everyone that wants to be a mentor to young girls. Just call us at Women of Tomorrow. They have an office, and we're always looking for volunteers that would like to go into the Detroit schools and once a month and help.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's such an honor to be here today.
Thank you. It's an honor to have you, and thank you for being here and sharing your story with us. Remarkable.
Thank you.
Remarkable women. Florine Mark on Off the Cuff today. I hope you are just as inspired as I am by this phenomenal person. Have a wonderful day.